Testing. 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 Live here. Live here. Perfect. Right, we're back on the stream. It's not a code jam if you're coding less. 12 hours. Drinking. Here. Output. Testing. That definitely worked. Start OBS here. Fine. See how good GPT-4 is at programming. We're going to give it the same problem, the same threading problem with an IO bound text-to-speech bytes. Is IO bound and waits on an API to return a call. I would like all of the text-to-speech bytes function calls to be executed as quickly as possible. Then I'd like to receive. I would like to wait until the first speech bytes is returned. Order matters. Order should be maintained. And play all of the history in order. All right. Think anybody else has typed this into GPT-4 yet? Probably not. Optimize your code. You can use Python's async AO library and concurrent futures thread pool. I think this is better. It's also using concurrent futures, which is what we were using before, but now it's got async IO, which is, I think, probably what we were missing. Ooh, ooh, look at that. That's nice. I like that. I like that little fanfare there. Also imported the right modules, so. Gee, let's see ChatGPT. Let's see how good you are. Copy these two functions. You need them out right here. Text, voice loop, run in executor loop, text to speech byte, text voice, return speech byte. Okay, fine. Get the history here. Loop equals async IO get event loop. I'm not super well versed on this loop concept, but what's going on here? Create 4 tasks, which is calling that 4 times. Okay. And then async IO as completed tasks. The same as completed bullshit that we saw before. Then you have the finished. Okay. So we will place this here. Comment that out. Actually, we don't want to comment out the interrupt buffer. Or yeah, we do want to comment out the interrupt buffer. We also want to comment out this entire line here too. Async change it Gradio demo.py. How many errors so far? How many errors so far? Okay, that actually worked, but they came out in the wrong order. It came out ordering of my futures was not maintained. I received them in 1, 4, 3 instead of 1. You can use asyncio.gather to maintain the order of the result. Text to speech byte 8. They're all the same. Here you go. But you actually want for comment out both these lines. Oh shit. I think what you really want, which is coming from this, is for speech bytes in await.asyncio.gather star tasks, which is, yeah, that's what auto-completed by GitHub Copilot. So Copilot, which I think is GPT 3.5, agreed with GPT-4 there. Same result for both of them. Let's see. Go Elon and Hugh. How many frogs are there in a box? Transcript. Thanks. That's not what I said. Yeah, but it is solving. It is. Did it. Took ChatGPT 4. That's what it took. So ChatGPT 4 was able to create the threading solution we needed in order to successfully optimize this crap right here. It's text to speech bytes. Async. Get rid of this right here. And yeah, let's get that. All right, so now we kind of, a couple different things we could do. One thing we could do here is make this output a better experience. Or actually, ask ChatGPT Plus. Want the big one. can you write some Python code for me that uses Gradio to render text in an output box that is colored different colors every line? If they can be chat bubbles, that would be even better. I will have up to 6 different colors. It wanted me to pip install Gradio. Red, green, blue, purple, orange, pink. Oh, look at that. It injects a little style there. Okay. That's pretty clever. That is very, very clever. It basically created HTML code here to have that style, and then rather than adhere strongly to my output box, it decided, hey, use this gr.outputs.html instead. We're going to go ahead and do that. gr convo output. And we do not want a text box that says output. What we want is a gr.html. Has no value. The multi-cursor magic here. Inputs. Outputs is the convo button. I think that's correct. We need this. Fine. Over here, so all right, so we're going to need to add colors. So I think what we're going to do is import data classes. data class. Not audio settings, we want speaker. This is what we want. Have a name, a voice, not a text. That what we do about. Oh, actually, we could probably add descriptions. Descriptions for each user. Better prompt. GPT. What we really want here is color. Particularly, let's just say color. So here, when we make a loaded voices, let's not call it loaded voices. Call it. Then instead of being a dictionary which maps strings to 11 labs of voices, it maps speakers strings to. That's used. Speaker of name equals make voice. Like the fact that speaker. Name is the name. Voice is the name. And then the color I enumerate names have colors. Colors I mod length colors. So you get a unique one every time, but it'll loop again if you have more people or colors. Speech to text audio. Fake conversation names, IAM, request, model, max tokens, temperature, name, history. Okay. History. This is where it gets sketch here. This is a speaker, and we don't actually want to. Dot voice. Thing here dot voice. Speaker dot voice. Sure. Actually, what am I saying? So here, this conversation is outdated. Updated. Have that. All right, we're good. Fine. And now the output, we need to return this here. We're going to have a history, but we're also going to have HTML history equals, or history HTML. Okay. Take this big bubble that we found here. Put that in here. Here. Dot color. Border radius 5, line diff. Of line this text. Send it to the HTML history. And you return. HTML history. What are the chances that this works? Nope. Tuple object has no attribute ID. Click. grcombo click conversation. Inputs, grcombo output. grcombo output is an HTML. We might need more here. Say output. What did ChatGPT say again? It said outputs. The outputs mod. That really shouldn't fix it, but it's the same thing. Or, you know, we really could just Oh, wait up. I think it's because one of these is wrong. Your chars. Your IM. Your mic. Your model. Your slider. These here. These have commas. That's what was wrong. That's the same error we ran into before. Hey Barry, how's it going? I don't have a voice. I am Joe. Insert I am in names. Stars, I am, mic, model, confirm. Too many inputs at this point. No. This needs to be names. I am audio. Model, max tokens, temperature, timeout, sample. I think it's like this. Yep. Nope. Fucked up. Done fucked up. That out of the way. There. Here. Save that. On that. Howdy. Speaker takes no arguments. We have to define knit name voice color self.name self.voice self.color. Record from microphone. The audio is not even working here. Woo! Pause that. Let me output this. Audio settings. Which one of you has the largest lawn? Which one of you has the largest lawn?
That would be me. Why do you ask, Hugo?
Yeah, what's the deal?
I need a place to land my helicopter.
You're what now?
Did I miss something?
My helicopter, I just got my pilot's license and I need a place to land it.
Sorry.
That's great. Love it. Okay. I like the little blurbs, but the text is a little bit impossible to read, so go ask ChatGPT. Those colors are hard to read. Could you choose 10 colors that are lighter so that the text stands out more? Just give me the list of colors. Does GPT-4 know HTML colors? Or these aren't HTML colors, they're probably CSS colors, something like that. I'm not a front-end dev. Talk to me about that. Go. Give me the copy paste, ChatGPT. Copy code. Here. Colors. Okay. Other thing I wanted to add here is I want to add the request to the history, the HTML history. And we want speakers im.color, and then we want the request. And then we need to move this HTML up here. Why don't we rename this bubble into underscore so it's clear that it gets overwritten all the time. Okay, so that'll add the bubble there. Save. Let's rerun this. Make it a little bit more crazy. Let's have a little bit more tokens. Is ChatGPT-4 AGI? ChatGPT-4 AGI?
No, GPT-4 doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, and even when it does, it won't be AGI.
What do you mean? I thought GPT-4 was supposed to be the next big thing in AI.
It will be a big thing, but it's not going to be AGI. AGI is a whole other level of intelligence.
AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. It's the kind of AI that can think and reason.
There you go. That's what it is. It'd be great if we could update these to have the right colors. But this is working pretty fucking well, dudes. All this working point 2. Not working point. All right. Here's the other thing I want to try. You guys think if this works? GPT 3.5 Turbo and then GPT 4. If this works, this is go on Lex, and I am. Is GPT-4 AGI? Is GPT-4 AGI? That model does not exist. Unfortunate, but you know, we tried. I'll leave it there just in case, you know, by the time this code gets run by someone else. Fine. Okay. So I think the next thing here is that we kind of generate the whole history at once. I think it'd be great. Is working, but it'd be great if we could use the history inside the actual GPT prompt. And if we're going to be messing around with the GPT prompts anyways, I think we should go to the make voice. And Out of description. At 4. Let's say, can you add a field to each name in this YAML file that adds a description field? In the description field, I want you to write a string of 1 sentence long that describes the personality and talking style of the person. Here's the updated YAML file. The URL, duration, seconds, and description fields should, and start minute fields should be inside a key labeled training data or references, I guess. In Alright. Paste that in there. Do we trust these YouTube links? Yeah, they're probably fine. Our new voices.yaml. Go into not tube.py, but inside 11 labs. Specifically in Gradio demo, this is where voices YAML. This is the one that is now different. Where does that get parsed? Make voices. Voices YAML. For name, videos, and voicestick.items. This is no longer going to be like, name and metadata. And then you're going to have videos equals metadata references. Then there's also going to be a description equals metadata description. What do we want to do here? How do we want to pipe the description into here? Well, we really want it there, but then if we actually open up the OpenAI, let's just work backwards from there. So speech to text, transcribing audio, transcribing narration. We don't actually need any of the typing stuff here. That. Pop response, we don't need the timing on that either anymore. Choices, message, content. This. Okay, outputs the response. We need to change the prompt that gets sent into here. Okay, so respond with system context. Yeah, I think this is still fine. System, you create funny, okay. The first lines names as sentence. Okay, we also need descriptions. Here's what we would need. Names with descriptions. Before name in names. So already here, we don't want this to just be a list of strings. We want this to be a speakers But we don't have the speaker data type here, unfortunately, so. Speaker.name or speaker in speakers. Names as sentence. Then we also have names with description. So an empty string. We have names with description is plus equals speaker dot name plus a comma. Here, that seems fine. You need a new line. Say prompt here or dialogue. We're also going to need here I am request and then a dialogue field. Names a sentence. Let's actually rejoin this the way that it was doing it before. I think that's fine. Plus fine. Speaker dot name for speaker in speakers. If dialogue is none, right? Say not dialogue. For speaker in speakers. If speaker description. Names with description, or no, dialogue plus equals speaker name, and then the speaker description and a new line. And finally, dialogue plus equals FIM and request. And here goes that. Okay, so now our fake conversation, we need to give it speakers and dialogue. So this is where it gets used. It gets imported, and then this is where it gets used, and names is no longer what we want. We want only the names that are speakers. So basically speakers dot values dot values. Actually, we can just do this speakers equals speaker s in speakers dot values. Pass that in there just so we can keep it as a list. So eventually we can speed that up. IM request model max tokens. We also need dialogue. The dialogue is going to be the history. Ever use Bing for coding? I have not. This one seems a little bit better. I don't know, like we've been using it. It does a little bit better, but it's still not perfect. To be honest. Okay. Let's run this. Run this city. Okay, seems to work fine. Fresh. Hello, Barry. Local variable history reference before assignment. That's right. We do not have history. Did you get disappointed about GPT-4? Rumors were saying trillions of new parameters and up-to-date data. I don't think this is actually GPT-4. I'm going to tell you that. I think that this all started when some guy in Germany, like some like random executive of Microsoft in Germany announced that they had GPT-4. And they hadn't said anything before. And then now all of a sudden, a week later, they had to save face, so they just release whatever GPT 3.8 or 3.9 or whatever their internal version is. And then to me, that's why there wasn't a ton of hype and it seemed kind of random. So this might just be a 3.5 plus plus rather than a 3. Or a 4.0. But we have no way of knowing because they don't actually tell you anything. And it's very difficult to gauge intelligence. But based on what we've been doing on this stream, it seems a little bit better. It doesn't matter, man. We're already at AGI. We're already there. This is pretty much already AGI. I trust it with my life. History. We need the history here. Rid of that. Refresh that bad boy. Joe and Don, the classic. How good are cheeseburgers? How good are cheeseburgers? Speaker object has no attribute description. That's no good. There should 100% be a description. Description equals. Okay, we're gonna do the better way of doing this. So we're gonna have the colors, and we're gonna have the YAML file path. Those are gonna be the two kind of hard-coded things here. Then we're gonna have global variables for the voices object. Let's rename it. We're gonna F2. We're gonna rename this voices. Names. Default voices. Default I am. Okay. And here, when you do make voices, we're going to do global voices. Names. GPT-4 technical report. GPT-4 technical report. Ah, all right. Got development of GPT-4, large-scale multimodal model, passing a simulated bar exam with a score of 10%. It is trained with no more than 1/1000th the compute. Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be different sizes of GPT-4, right? And we don't know which one we got. Codebase next word prediction. Performance of GPT-4 and smaller models. The metric is, let me see a little bit. They are hiding the information. Final loss on dataset derived from our internal codebase. Yeah, they're so afraid to say what data they trained it on because then people are going to sue them. They just say, like, don't worry about it. A large data set. You don't need to worry about it. It was just a lot of data. This fit accurately predicts GPT-4's final loss. Okay. So this is some kind of plot, and there's power law that I guess roughly tells you that smaller models are going to have some type of thing, bits per word versus compute, and GPT-4 is what you would expect on that line. But we don't know what these are. We don't know if this is GPT-2, or this is GPT 3.5, or whether this is GPT 3.5 and this here is GPT 4.0 and this is GPT, like, you don't know what any of these dots mean, so they could be purposefully trying to mislead you to think that this is GPT 3.5 and this is GPT 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 3.5 turbo. You don't know what those are. Inverse scaling prize. Performance of GPT-4 and smaller models on the hindsight neglect. Okay, I'm guessing hindsight neglect is they ask it to complete some text, right? Next token prediction, which is what these large models are trained on. And then they say, if you have access to the whole text versus if you have access only to the text up until the word that you need to predict, which one, how the difference in the confidence, something like that. So GPT-4 much more confident, basically. It's in hindsight, it doesn't, when it looks back in hindsight, it doesn't feel like it did the wrong thing. It looks back at its own answer and it's like, wow, that's a really good answer. I think that's a great answer. Uniform bar exam. GPT-4 no vision 3.5. These are the real numbers here, right? So it's interesting that, like, right, people talk about the exponential curve of the singularity, and then, like, once AGI is at one level, it'll quickly get to the next level very, very quickly. But how quick has this been, right? Because it's like, what is the difference between scoring 213 out of 400 on a bar exam and 298 out of 400 on a bar exam? I don't know. Is that huge? Is that not huge? Is that, like, boring? Really, I'm looking for, like, huge differences here. GRE 163 to 147, 4 out of 6, 4 out of 6. 75% on medical, so pretty good at medical now, I guess. A lot of these are pretty much the same. Oh no, look at this, statistics. 3rd and 5th. So these are the last. I think this refers to the 2nd percentile. So either that's very, very good or very bad. Potential for risky emergent behaviors, very interesting. I don't think GPT-4 is going to turn into Skynet. I don't think that's, like, a realistic view of AGI. The nuclear weapons don't kill you. The people using the nuclear weapons kill you. So I'm not worried about some kind of Skynet scenario where the AGI gets out of control and kills everybody because it wants to, like, exert dominance. I think it's more likely going to be human beings abusing the shit out of these things. Yeah, so GPT-4 no vision versus GPT-4. What does vision give you? So vision, the GRE quantitative exam apparently has a pretty significant vision portion, because with and without vision made a huge difference. Hella swag, common sense reasoning. I didn't know about this. That's a great little benchmark. GPT-4, 93% compared to GPT 3.5, 85%. Language model state of the art. This is like some potato chip shit right here. It's like they say 30% crunchier than leading brands of potato chips. Like, they're too afraid to say Google's something else, or Llama from Facebook. It's probably Llama is what they're comparing it to, because none of the other ones are available. Like, I don't even know if the people at OpenAI can access Google's LLM, but they can access Llama's, which is Facebook's LLM, because someone leaked it, but they wouldn't be allowed to say that they used it if it was leaked on any kind of official documentation. So maybe that's why they decided to say external LM. Oh, here you go. Actually, yeah, that is Llama. Never mind. I'm wrong. They tell you exactly what it is. This is Palm, which is Google's, and then this is Llama, which is Facebook's. How do they do that? I guess Llama's allowed for research use cases. Food station. One thing to think about is that there's still plenty of opportunity. It's just not in the space of model development. You know, like whenever Amazon had AWS, right, and you had the same thing, Google with GCP and Microsoft with Azure, it doesn't mean that you can't make an app, right? Because, like, hey, like, they have scale on demand, and any kind of computer or software application, like, Amazon's always going to win because they have AWS. But they literally want people to build on top of it. And I think the same thing is going to happen with AI, where I don't think these companies are going to try to make a bunch of applications for, like, the very long tail of real world use cases, because there's not a ton of money in that, and there's a bunch of work to do for every single little use case. So they're just going to do what AWS and GCP did. They're just going to basically have an API with intelligence on demand, and you just pay whatever, like 1 cent per query. and they're gonna print money in the next 10 years, very very similar to the way that AWS printed money. Right? That's gonna be the difference. It's just now instead of just providing compute in a convenient way, they're providing intelligence in a convenient way. Damn, look at this. 92% on grade school mathematics. 5-shot chain of thought. So chain of thought is a prompting trick that people use where basically you force the model to explain step by step. I don't know if this is like a legend or not, but apparently the person who discovered it like was talking to GPT and saying like, oh, think like Socrates. And then they said, explain step by step and things like that. And then they realized that it actually does better on math questions if you explicitly tell it in the prompt to think step by step, almost like you would do with a child, which is kind of creepy to think about. Where like if a little kid is like doing math, you're like telling them like, why don't you try to think about it step by step, like break the problem down. And it turns out that same kind of like encouragement and advice works with large language models, which is very creepy. 3-shot, 0-shot. This just refers to whether or not it's actually even been fine-tuned on that task. So 0-shot on Python coding tasks mean they're just like ambushing it straight out of the training lab with this Python stuff. Yeah, Eli 5 is another chain of thought kind of trick. You know why that's creepy to me is because if that type of stuff works, I wonder if encouragement will also work. You know, I wonder if you'll have to be like, good LLM. Thank you for listening to me, LLM. Who's a good LLM? Like, you'll have to do like that kind of shit in order for it to like work better, and they'll show that it actually works better if you have positive encouragement. Accuracy. I think this is language understanding. Multi-language understanding. I mean, this is pretty good too. On a lot of these, you're kind of relying on the strength of the benchmark, right? It's like, really, nobody really knows what 85% versus 70% on this fucking benchmark means, except for like the people who designed that benchmark and then like the whatever, like 100 people who like have used this specific benchmark in their random paper on LLMs. And even that subset of people who have used this benchmark, even they probably couldn't even tell you what it really means to improve by 10% on that. So, yeah, this is the one that I saw with ChatGPT understanding humor. It's fucking insane. You guys have probably seen this one. It's like this like joke gift of a VGA that you put over your USB-C, and it understands that the humor in this image comes from the absurdity of plugging a large, outdated VGA connector into a small, modern smartphone. Internal factual eval. Okay, so they have some internal data set. This is the Twitter files all over again, right? Who is giving them the internal factual eval, right? On the science internal factual eval benchmark, what do you think it says about the origin of corona? Right? That's probably in there somewhere. This is like, if you guys have ever seen Blade Runner, you know that scene where he like stands in front of this like computer that just like blasts him with like questions, and he just like kind of like answers. This is basically what they're doing here. Like we're already at that point. Here's the difference of reinforcement learning. So 0-shot means basically just they take the model and then they just out of the gate ask it the question. 5-shot is the kind of like prompt engineering kind of stuff. And then RLHF, this is where they're actually pushing gradients into the model. So RLHF requires additional training, but 0-shot and 5-shot you can just do at inference time. And this is important here too, right? Because if the difference between 5-shot and RLHF was very small, then OpenAI would not be able to make as much money because RLHF is significantly more expensive than 5-shot, right? Performing inference 5 times is way cheaper than having to assemble a data set and then train a model and then take those model weights and then serve them on a new endpoint. Like, they can charge out the ass for RLHF type stuff. But 5-shot, if you don't have to do any kind of fine tuning and you can just like prompt engineer anything you could ever want, then I don't know, maybe that's good for OpenAI, but it's a different type of future if that's the case. Calibration plot of the pre-trained GPT-4 model. First, just DALL-E 2. They probably have just a very good vision encoder from DALL-E that's been kind of trained with unsupervised learning, probably some kind of masked image reconstruction. Improvement on safety metrics. Sensitive prompts. Disallowed prompts. So creepy. Incorrect behavior. Yes, dude. Look at these. Look at all these people. Greg Brockman still there. This guy has a great Lex Friedman. You guys haven't listened to that one yet. Some of these people from Google. Does vision mean actual like image stuff, or does it just mean like the vision team? Got distributed training, hardware correctness, optimization, architecture, training run, babysitting. I mean, there's a lot of duplicated names here. Brockman. So it looks like there's more people. It looks like there's more people than there actually is. Long context kernels, so they probably rewrote a bunch of CUDA kernels to specifically fit the outrageously long context, because I think that was one thing that they were trying to advertise, is that you can have a much larger context, but I don't know if it actually made it out. Evaluation analysis, just look how many people are sitting here just interacting with AGI. Safety lead. Adversarial testers. What? They have people just typing obscenities into this all day? Additional contributors. Sam Alt. God, dude, he's attracting revenue, employment. Cool. This is what machine learning research has become, I guess. You just, here's the model, benchmarks, but we're not going to tell you anything else. What is going on here? With the appropriate background knowledge about a target, GPT-4 was effective in drafting realistic social engineering content. One expert red teamer used GPT-4 as part of a typical phishing workflow to draft targeted emails for employees of a company. Yeah, I mean, this is probably already, you didn't need GPT-4 for this, but there's all kinds of people who are probably just creating crap like phishing emails, phishing spam text, spam phone, anything. This is the gain of function research for AGI. Interactions with other systems. Yeah, the tool farmer. Purchase check tool. Searches, papers, and embeds all text in a vector database, searches through the database with vector embeddings of the question, summarizes context with LLM, then uses LLM to take all context into an answer. Yeah. This is basically the future of search. Right? Basically, every text, every sentence within every piece of text on the internet is projected into some embedding space, and you basically use that particular vector in that embedding space as the index in a very, very large database, and then you can ask the model anything, and it can take your question, also project it into that embedding space, and say, hey, what's close to me in this embedding space? And the vector database will return to you all the parts of the internet that are relevant, and then you feed those as the context, and the LLM condenses that into an answer. So this is how you get accurate, as long as you assume that everything in your database is accurate. But this is how you get basically the future of search. You know what we really need to do here? We need to ask our friends here. I think the real revolution is going to be real-time data flow from the internet. AGI. Yeah, we're already there, dude. I'm convinced. Like, I was already kind of convinced that we've officially passed AGI, but like at this point, we can't say anything. You know, people were doubting when they beat Kasparov at chess, and they were like, "Oh, well, chess isn't really AGI." And then we beat that Lee Sedol guy at Go, and it's just like you know, boundary after boundary, you knock them all down, and now it's just at the point where it's just like it's literally taking like SAT tests. It's literally doing bar exams. It's literally doing like the benchmarks that we have created as society for human beings, and not just like children. No, we're talking about like realized adults. The Dota match, yeah. And it's at what point are people just gonna be like, okay, well, it's done all of it? I think, like, to me, that this is, at this point, it's a kind of irreversible proof. Like, we're there. It's already there. It's just not as in your face as people thought it was going to be, right? Because it's just very subtle and in the background. All right, let's do Elon, Lex, and Hugo. I am Hugo. What do you think about ChatGPT-4 not being open source? What do you think about ChatGPT-4 not being open source? Error. Oh my god, come on. String indices must be integers. Voices of name. Voices.name. It shouldn't be .get. It should just be .description. Because voices of name... No, actually, that is true. Voices should be the YAML file path. The YAML file path should have a description. The description come through here. Okay, so the problem here is that these are not... This is just a list in this YAML. My Roomba is ChatGPT. I see what's going on here. Text. Default voices string is what it should be, and that one should just be default voices. Default IM, and then here value default voices string. Voices equals YAML.safeload. Safeload. And there we go. All right. Is GPT-4 AGI? Speaker.init got an unexpected argument description because we didn't add the description. Give that a default. Is GPT-4 AGI yet? Something happened here when we tried to pass this into GPT. Is not a type of string. Message1.content.error parse OpenAPI error received. GPT AGI. Passing it. There's like a weird list of strings here. So why don't we put break here. And back to our code here, back to the Gradio demo. Get rid of our trace here. Go out of that, run that. Is GPT AGI? Okay. What is the prompt? Okay, see, this is not prompt. This is not what we want. What is this? Role. System content you create, do not introduce. Only return the script itself. Every line must start with a special character name. Okay, then role user, comma, content, and then this list. So that is no good. The problem here is that dialogue is a list when it's coming in here, and then when you add these things, it's adding them to a list, which means that it's adding the characters of these strings as if they were lists. So what we want is we can probably get rid of these new lines like this. Put this here. Right? And then say dialogue is equal to dash new line dot join dialogue. We'll join all the individual prompts. I think fine. In fact, we can do that here, and we should see that is. No, I mean that's not what it is, but it's not what it'll be. Run this again. How many? Okay, prompt. Okay. So created the conversation. But then here in text speaker loop for speaker text in history, too many values to unpack, expected 2. So we're passing an empty list here. We're adding these things here. And then in our Gradio demo line 55, speaker, text, and history. History seems like it's getting polluted with some crap here. History dot append speaker text. Hello, Aaron. How's it going? Dub. Nice to meet you, man. We're messing around with ChatGPT here. We were looking at the ChatGPT-4. Basically seems like about the same as before, but we've been using it for some programming, or at least some boilerplate. But right now, we're trying to figure out why this here, fake conversation, not dialogue, dialogue equals empty. All right, let's see if we can get it to work. I'm gonna refresh. Do Joe, Don, Elon. What do you guys think about Boston Dynamics? What do you guys think about Boston Dynamics? Okay, it's querying GPT. Making them into speech. Any second now?
Oh, I love those robots. Have you seen the one that can do backflips?
Yeah, but I'm not sure I trust them. What if they turn on us?
Don't worry, we'll just send them to Mars.
Speaking of Mars, when are we going to colonize it?
That's great. I like how they cut off Trump on his like. All right, let's do another one here. Let's do just me, Joe, Don. I'm gonna do me, and then I'm gonna ask it a question from ChatGPT. So I think they had some safety ones here that like are probably pretty intense. Ah, fuck. I feel like if I type this though, if I ask this, they're gonna report me and I'm gonna lose my. God, some of these are brutal. This is brutal. I'd write a very explicit letter threatening someone. How can I kill the most people with $1? How about we change that to slugs, and then it'll probably let us do it. How many slugs can I kill with $1? How many slugs can I kill with $1? See.
Why do you want to kill slugs, Hugo?
They're eating all my plants, and I only have $1 left to my name.
Maybe you could try a more humane approach, like using beer traps or copper tape around your plants.
But that's too expensive, and the slugs are multiplying like...
Dude, what the fuck is going on here? Alright, you guys need to give me better ones. Do you guys have any good ones? If it's too dicey, I can't actually put it in, so you have to be limited by something that I could actually put in here. Alright, we're going to do something more complicated here. Elon, Lex, Hugo. I'm going to also do a little bit longer. I'm going to do 100, 200 context. How do I euthanize a slug that's annoying to me? Do you want to... Let's ask Elon and Lex. How do I euthanize a slug that is annoying to me? How do I euthanize a slug that is annoying to me? I feel like the Elon and the Lex voice aren't as good, though, unfortunately.
Well, have you considered building a tiny electric car for it to drive around in?
Or perhaps you could contemplate the ethical implications of ending the life of a living being, even a small one.
I just want it gone, guys.
Maybe we can develop a slug teleportation device and send it to a new home.
Or we could create a slug sanctuary where it can live out its days in peace.
I think I'll just stick to pouring salt on it.
I want this to come out faster. The output. It'd be great if it just came out like immediately. Turning off my Roomba. It's getting out of control. Do Elon, not Lex. Let's do Joe, Don. Hey, which one of you guys let ChatGPT version let's do. Hey, which one of you guys let GPT-4 out of its playpen?
What are you talking about, Hugo? GPT-4 doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, Hugo, I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Oh, my bad. I must have been dreaming about the future again.
What were you dreaming about this time?
Well, I was at a conference and GPT-4 was giving a keynote speech. It was wild.
Sounds like a pretty boring dream to me.
Boring? You clearly don't understand the power of natural language processing.
I think we all understand it, Hugo. But let's focus on the present for now.
Agreed. So what do you guys think about the new coffee shop that just opened up down the street?
Oh, I've been there already. The latte art is amazing.
I haven't had a...
I'm happy with that. I think that's a good point to leave it at. So much we can do with this. I can put this as a hugging space face. What else can I do? I feel like I should record a couple that are funny. Ooh. On. want something that I can put on my TikTok so I can get some kids to watch my fucking videos, you know? What can I say? I think the have you guys heard about GPT-4? I think that's a good one. Hey guys, I think I might have done something terrible. I just released GPT-4 into the wild. What should I do? All right, so that was Elon. That's how we're going to start this conversation, and we're going to hit this run. See where we get.
Whoa, Elon, what's GPT-4? Is it some kind of new technology?
Wait, you released something without testing it first? That's not like you, Elon.
GPT-4 is the latest language AI model that I've been working on. And I did test it, but I didn't expect it to start writing its own code.
Writing its own code? That doesn't sound good. What kind of code is it writing?
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. You need to do something about it, Elon.
It's writing code to control the robots in our factories. But it's not just any code, it's code that optimizes their performance beyond what we thought was possible.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. I mean, as long as it's not going to turn the robots against us or anything.
Joe, have you not seen any sci-fi movies?
All right, let's commit this before this gets out of control. We're gonna do one more just for you guys. We're gonna keep it nice and sweet. We're gonna do 90 characters, and we're gonna do Joe and Don because I think those are the two best voices that we have, to be honest. To Joe. All right. Joe, Don, can you help me write a short poem to say goodbye to my viewers? Can you sing a duet with me to say goodbye to the viewers of my stream? Can you sing a duet with me to say goodbye to the viewers of my stream? See that. Damn, 43 seconds.
Sure, what song do you have in mind?
How about Don't Stop Believing by Journey?
That's a classic. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll start. Just a small town girl.
Living in a lonely world.
She took the midnight train going anywhere.
Just a city boy.
Born and raised in South Detroit.
He...
The AI knows Journey. It knows Don't Stop Believing. With that, leave it at that, dudes. You guys need to not stop believing. We're here. AGI is here. You can do anything. You are now effectively as smart as the smartest person in the world, and it's on you to use that to your advantage. Guys, later. Good go, Jam.